Welcome to The Real and the Woo. I'm your host, Lauri Stern. Join me as I invite experts and friends to discuss a range of topics, from the factual and practical to the mystical and magical. Consider this your virtual happy hour filled with lively, authentic, and meaningful conversations meant to inform, inspire, and ignite your curiosity. Whether you are very real or super woo, this podcast is just for you. Hello, welcome to The Real and the Woo. I'm your host, Lauri Stern, and I have my very good friend and magic human that I adore. I slobber how much I adore you. It's a little embarrassing. This is Marlena, and say your name again.
Jayatilake.
Yeah, that's a lot of wonderful, beautiful syllables. Where are you from originally?
I am originally from the south side of Chicago. I was born and raised in Inglewood.
Okay. But where does your name come from? Your husband's name?
My husband's name is Sri Lanka.
Okay.
So my husband is from Sri Lanka.
That's amazing. And I've met your husband. He's wonderful. And I saw on your Instagram post, your son is active at the store. So for those of you that don't know Marlena, to whom I lovingly refer to her as Magic Marlena, she owns a store here where we live called Love That Spice. And this is one of those people, Marlena, you might not know this about yourself, but there's very few people in my life that I would pay to hear read a cookbook. And you're one of those people. I would do anything to be in your presence because you have such a gift of connecting and you're so authentic. And you guys, what she does is she has this amazing store in our community that sells spices and tea blends. And do you have coffee in there too?
Well, we do have one coffee blend, only one. And that is the 7 mushroom with ginseng and espresso. Only reason why I chose one is because, like I said, I'm a tea shop. But if I were going to make a coffee drink, it had to be beneficial. Beneficial meaning it had to feed the temple, right? So it had to offer benefits other than just being a diuretic, right? So I added to that organic red Korean ginseng that's been aged 6 years. Then I add 7 different mushrooms, which are chaga, reishi, cordyceps, maitake, shiitake, and lion's mane. Then I add raw cacao from Peru. And then the last thing that I add is espresso. So it is a wonderful coffee elixir with 7 mushrooms, ginseng, raw cacao, and it is fabulous. So that is one of my favorite drinks. And I tell you why. Well, ginseng is really great. It's a health tonic, right? So it promotes longevity. It can lower your blood sugar. Then when you add the 7 mushrooms in, it's a nerve protectant. It's loaded with vitamin D. As a matter of fact, it's a heavy concentration of vitamin D because mushrooms are dried in the sun. Okay. So you're talking cardiovascular benefits, incredible immunity benefits, nerve protectant. So this is something, and the most important thing that we all have is brain fog. And that's what lion's manes will do for you. So this drink is 100% energetic. And unlike regular coffee, you only need 1 cup a day of this. It's not coffee. I like to call it fuel. It's called the Red Dragon Mushroom Elixir. So it is a coffee drink, and it's the only coffee drink we make. So I implore you to try that because once you try it, you'll never go back.
Well, and I think I already discussed the magic mushroom drink that I love that you make. So does that have some of that blend in it? Is that why I love it so much?
Absolutely. So that coffee blend has the 7 mushrooms and the raw cacao from Peru. So it is a powerhouse within itself. But for the magic mushroom that you're talking about, it also has a prebiotic in it. And the prebiotic that we use is chicory. So chicory is a shrub that's loaded with fiber, feeds the healthy gut bacteria. So now you have a prebiotic and your probiotic, and now you're in balance. So the mushroom magic also includes dandelion root. Now, why did I include dandelion root in there? Well, it cleanses the liver. which will clear up the blood, which will clear up any kind of skin outbreaks that you might have. Great for fatty liver or cirrhosis of the liver or just regular maintenance of the liver. So that drink is a powerhouse as well. So the 7 mushroom blend works both ways. You can add it to your coffee, you can make a tea, or you can make hot chocolate. Either way you do it, just do it.
I've had it cold too at your place.
Mushroom milkshake. So that same blend can also make a mushroom milkshake, which is fantastic.
It's unbelievable. It's like, it's good for you dessert is how I like to look at it.
If you can make quote unquote medicine taste good, well, you're halfway there, right?
Yeah.
Because if it tastes good, the likelihood of you doing it just increases exponentially. It does.
Yes, yes. So I discovered Marlena because back in her original location, we had a birthday party for 2 of my friends where we did cooking. Do you remember that?
I absolutely do.
And it was so much fun. And I immediately fell in love with you then. And it's been just a love fest ever since. And then during COVID, you saved not only my life, but several people's lives because she makes this ginger turmeric shot with a hot chai chaser that if you live where we live, do you ship these things to people, by the way? Can you do that?
I do not ship, but it's funny. Okay. I just received a call from DoorDash that people are requesting it to be delivered.
Well,
so it'll probably be delivered pretty soon.
Yeah. And you're going to go global. This ginger turmeric wellness shot it's just a fire going down your throat and you can feel it working from the inside. And then you have this delicious, soothing chai tea latte chaser that I would just drink by itself anyway. But the combo of the two, the ginger turmeric wellness shot that you make, can you tell me how you came up with the recipe? I know it's inspired through your husband and his upbringing, but the specific way you put the chai and the turmeric shot and everything in it together without giving away a secret blend, what inspires you to make that drink?
Wellness, good health. That's what inspires me. I've had arthritis since I was 30. I was in a car accident and I had arthritis in my back. And well, pain pills, they back you up, they constipate you, right? So I was looking for an alternative to pain pills. And after doing years of research on turmeric, I felt like that was the missing piece. So instead of doing powdered turmeric, because this is what mainstream is doing, the powdered turmeric, I took it a step further because powdered turmeric, well, one thing, you don't know how old it is. So being effective, if you want something to be effective, it needs to be fresh. Well, powder is not fresh. The actual root is fresh. So we juice the actual root and not the powder. And then we blend it with ginger, which is great for osteoarthritis. And as we age and we lose bone mass, a lot of us are on bone. That's not too fun. I don't know if you've ever experienced it, but turmeric can reduce the inflammation, reduce the swelling. Ginger is great for osteoarthritis, but it's also good for IBS. So I was looking for a shot that it could address multiple situations, and that's how that was born.
Love it. And then the chai after that is just a nice thing you do.
Oh, yeah. It's like, the chai with the shot is just perfect. It's like a perfect marriage. You go through, well, I don't want to say pain, but you go through the pain of the shot. And then by the time you get the chaser, which I make fresh every single day, I crush up the spices before I actually brew it. And it is fantastic. It just works perfectly with the shot. So we thought that we would pair it together. And we've been getting such good feedback on it that why change it if it's not broken?
No, don't fix it if it ain't broken.
Right.
Okay. Let's tell everybody how you got into this business and why. And when we load this on YouTube, if we do, for those of you who can't see what's going on behind her, if I didn't know what she did, I would think that the DEA would be knocking on her door because it looks like packs of cocaine and marijuana. So, and possibly it is. I don't know, because I don't know what you put in your stuff, but it's really good. So
that is tea. That is tea. So I put all the tea up here. So we service the Ritz-Carlton Hotel in Chicago and in Miami. So because they order such large amounts, we keep them here. So I blend up the tea for them and then I pack it in here for them.
Yeah. And we'll just say that's exactly what's in there. Yeah.
Yes. We're going to stick with that.
Everyone loves the Ritz-Carlton even more now. All right. So first of all, congratulations on that gig, because I know you really manifested that. You worked long and hard to get that.
They're wonderful people. And it's through Coma Spas. So they're also at the Fairmont Hotel. So we have the Fairmont Hotel as well. But it's a beautiful, beautiful spa. And they serve the tea there as well as sell it.
Yeah, it's amazing. All right. So tell everybody how you became magic and why.
Well, it is, and I have to give credit where credit is due, right? I would not be in this business if it were not for my husband. So my husband's people are the ones that said, well, Marlena, you should open up a spice store there. And I said, well, I don't really think the spices will work because the spice house is here and there's no way I could go up against them, right? And so I asked them, I said, well, give me a week to do research and I'll let you know. So I started going to different spice stores, trying to get them to explain the health benefits to me because I was married to my husband and they focus on Ayurveda, I started understanding the health benefits of spices. So I wanted the spice stores to kind of educate me on what I had already known. So I would ask them about turmeric and cinnamon and mustard seeds and cardamom seeds, and nobody knew the health benefits of these spices. So I said, wow, I think I found my niche. So I'm going to educate people not just on the culinary value of spices, but the healing benefits of spices and help people turn their spice cabinets into a medicine cabinet with the same exactly with the same spices that we use every single day. And that's when I made the decision to open up Love That Spice. And because I thought that it was a gift, I opened it up on my birthday. My 40th birthday was the day that I decided to open it because it was a gift. And it's not just meant for me, but it was meant for me to share with the world, right? Because if I can teach one person how to curb the inflammation or stop a tummy ache or lower your blood sugar, well, then you know what? Then my job is done because that's what I'm here for.
Right. Yeah. We connect in that way because it just takes one person at a time. Right.
That's it.
And of course, because we've had conversations, I want to be invited to lead yoga retreats at the Fairmont and the Ritz. So hello.
Absolutely.
And with you, obviously, I'm trying to collaborate with you like no man's business, no woman's business.
I love that.
But it really does take one person at a time. And of course, groups are great. But if you heal one person, you heal the entire world, right?
Absolutely. Because
everyone around them feels better.
Right. That's right. Because they'll share their experience. They absolutely will. When you feel good, it kind of radiates from you and people will start to ask, what are you doing? And then you'll start to talk. So each one, reach one is what I like to say.
I love that. Each one. Is that on your website? Each one, reach one? Well, that needs to be a tagline, man. Because, you heard it here first, you guys, right?
Right.
And so the piece of your husband that connected you to this business is, because I've seen him behind the counter. I know that he does blend things as well, but is his background in this kind of business too?
Well, the thing is, his background is attributed to his lifestyle. So whereas we have to be taught, we go to school to learn these things, right? Or we're taught from a master, right? But he lived it. So when he was a kid, they got sick. His mother went to the backyard and pulled something out of the ground. My mother went to the medicine cabinet and got Tylenol. So you see, whereas I had to be taught, he was born and raised in it. Right. So it's not like a career for him. It's a lifestyle for him, a lifestyle that I adopted.
Yeah. So let me ask you then, how did you guys meet if you want to tell the listeners your love story?
Well, we met on the south side of Chicago. I met
Just
him.
really quick. Some people
Yeah,
say that south side, right?
south
The south side.
side. Oh, it's got flavor. It's got flavor. And I am so proud to have come from Inglewood. You see, in the news today, you only hear the bad. You never hear the good because, well, good doesn't sell. Bad is sensational, right? To a lot of people. Well, flowers grow in dark places, right? All the time, right? And
Lotuses only
Inglewood,
grow in mud.
see, there you go,
Yeah.
right? Right?
There you go.
A diamond can only become a diamond when pressure is added to it,
I
right?
tell that story in
So
my classes
that's
all
right.
the time.
That's right. So I am so thankful that I came from Inglewood, right? Because it's easier to reach everyone. Inglewood is not the bottom, okay? But most people think that it is because, well, you see what you see on the news, but a lot of great people are on the south side of Chicago. So everybody, don't limit yourself. Don't judge a book by its cover. Each person is an individual. Now, when I met my husband, it was right after September 11th. I'd already would see him at the gas station and I thought to myself, wow, he's really cute, right? But that's as far as it went. But after September 11th, my husband looks like he could be Middle Eastern, right? So people were nasty to him because, well, the country was hurting. We just had 2 airplanes to fly into, the World Trade Center, right? So people are angry and they're looking for people that look like the people who did this, right? So he looks that way. So I was standing in line at the gas station and I heard people calling him the MF, just talking so bad to him. And he looked so hurt, but not once did he ever say anything back to them. He just kept it at yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. And when they would curse him, he would just keep it moving. And when it was my turn in line, I said, I don't even know why I said it, but I told him, I said, we're not all like that. We don't all think you drove an airplane through the building. Well, you couldn't because you're standing right here, right? And from that day forth, he looked at me differently. We looked at each other differently. So I would make little excuses to go to the gas station to see him, right? Because you can only fill your car up so many times before it's not gas that you're coming for. So I would go and I would buy.
You were looking to fill up your love tank, if
I
I can
was
be so
looking to
bold.
fill up my love life and my heart, right? Because this guy touched me in a way that nobody else did. I could see light illuminating from this man, and I had to know him. So I would make excuses like, I need a pack of gum. So I would go get a pack of gum or go get a bag of chips. I didn't even eat that stuff, but I would just go to it just so I can see him. So the relationship blossomed, and he asked me one day, he said, if I give you my phone number, would you call me? And on the inside, I'm like, oh my God, yeah. And on the outside, I'm like, absolutely, I would, right? So he asked me out on a date. And the very first time, he took me out to dinner. And then he invited me back to his place. Now, do I go to men's houses on the first date? Absolutely not. But with him, I felt a sense of ease, a sense that it was just something beautiful. So I said, sure. He invited me back to his house for tea. So he went to his kitchen and he made me the tea. I tasted the tea, the worst tea I ever tasted in my life. But as I'm drinking the tea, I happened to look up at the calendar that was inside of his kitchen. It was hanging on his wall. And it said, the first day my baby called me. And that was the first day I had called him, September 15th.
Wow.
And I said to myself, I am going to marry this man. And I never, from that day forth, we were inseparable. We were inseparable. And I was at his house one day, and this is how I knew this was it. He walked me to my car. I got in my car and I drove off. And as I'm driving off, I look in my rearview mirror. This man is standing in the middle of the street watching me drive off. I stop my car. I reverse it. I jump out of the car and I hug this man. And I knew then that I would never leave his side. And that was it. We never spent another day apart from that day forth. That's and then amazing. Here we are 2 kids later. And next month we celebrate 19 years of marriage.
That's such a blessing. What a wonderful, spicy love story. And I love the irony of your first cup of tea with your business partner and husband, by the way, was the worst one you had.
It was so sweet. Oh, and I don't like sweet things. I was horrible.
That's
but
so
I drank
funny.
it. I drank it.
You just said you don't like sweet things. And it's funny because I feel like, I don't know if you've ever had your astrology chart done or anything, but I have no fire in my chart, believe it or not. And you know me, and you would say, what do you mean you have no fire? You're so charged up. You're so fiery. And I feel like where we don't have or we don't like, we manifest in other ways. Because I see you as the most, not saccharine sweet, the most authentically sweet human. And so it's like, you might not like to eat things sweet, but you like to present them, man. I mean, just, it's amazing, really.
I love people. I love humans.
I know. And I'm so glad to be one of your people. It's just, it's so delicious.
Thank you. And yes, you are. You are a woman of light. So people of light seek other people of light.
Yes,
and
they do.
How it works.
That's how it works. And the podcast, is called The Real and the Woo. And so the real side of you obviously is your business, right? And the woo side of you is all the ways you make your blends. And just like I do with my business is custom design wellness, right? So I see a person and they might come to me. They're like, you've got great arms. You've said that to me. You might come to me as a client, like, I want your arms. Okay. But then in the course of conversation, it's not about what you look like. Then we get to really know like what else it is that you'd like to work on. So that's the custom part of what I do. And in that same way, I've come to you like, I'm not feeling great, or I've got bloating or whatever, not to overshare. And you've given me like these magic spice blends, drink this for X amount of days. And God love you, you've been right every time. And, the trust that the community has cultivated with you comes from you. You're so good at your craft and truly are magic. And I love coming in. I don't come in enough, but I love coming in when I have my puppy. Those of you who might be able to see this, she was just laying in here when I brought Sophie, and I had her outside your store and I was holding on to her with it was a magic mushroom coffee or the smoothie. I love that.
Right.
Oh my God.
Oh, I love it too.
Yeah. So to get real for a moment, what would you say has been your biggest success in business so far and your biggest challenge?
The biggest success I have, and I often tell people this, a lot of people go into business to be a millionaire or to be wealthy or whatever it is they go into business for. For me, now I'm not a millionaire. Let me just put that out there now, but I am rich. And what makes me rich is that I get up every single day doing exactly what I want to do, changing people's lives, fulfilling myself, and doing it all because I want to do it, not because I have to do it, because I can do whatever it is that I want to do. But I feel successful in my own right because I am a full-time mother. I am full-time, hands-on. My children work here at the store for me. I have a wonderful marriage. I have good friends. So for me, that is success. Okay. I don't care how much money I have. Money does not make you happy. Doing what fulfills you will. And so in that right, I am successful. That's right. Now, the biggest challenge for me is to be in 10 places at one time. I have been offered deals to franchise, and I have often turned those down. And reason being is I want what I do to be authentic. I want everything I do to have my touch on it. And what that means is I will always be small, right? The business will be small. And the reason for that, that spells success for me because I'm not overworked. I'm not underworked. I'm in perfect balance, right? So the biggest challenge for me is being 10 places at one time while still keeping the idea of being small, right? I want to be local. I want to be community. I want to be able to have the opportunity to sit down and talk to a customer. Why? Because I'm just big enough to be able to afford to do that, but small enough to be able to make a difference in the community, right?
I love that. Yeah, wow. I was just listening to something, and I know Jessica Alba has her honest company. I guess she just gave up the reins after, I
Yes,
think
she
it was like
did.
11 years. And I hear a lot of what you're saying and what she was describing. It became a point where she was okay to like send her child, her business off to school. And maybe sometime, you'll get there if that's in your plan. I'm grateful that it's not, because, no offense to anybody else, but I only come in there if I know you're there. And Marlena knows I'll call like, are you there? Because I only want to come
Right.
see you. Because it's not just what you make, it's how you make people feel. And I come
Right.
in for the spices, I come in for the blends, but I come in to what you lend to me with your heart and your
Oh,
conversation. And I
thank
love
you.
you've got the program of the dry spices, and you give these gorgeous bottles, and we can bring them back to you, and you allow us to
Mhm.
fill those up again, or we keep them at home. And the same with your turmeric wellness shots. You let people bring the stuff back and you recycle. So there's very little waste with what you do. And
Right.
so I love that. And then one more question I wanted to ask you is, in the business that you've been in, have you come across like the funniest moment you can recall? I know I'm putting you on the spot. We don't rehearse these things, but just take a minute and see if there's anything super funny without saying any names or
Actually, yes.
good.
And well, it's one of the funniest ones. So, I bring my children in to work. My 17-year-old son works here with me, and my 9-year-old daughter also works here. She's the cashier on Saturdays. So I'm
Mm,
teaching my children how to run the business. And I thought to do it early so that by the time after they're done with college, by the time they're ready, they can run this business fluently. And then I can make what's called appearances, come in
right.
3 to 4 times a week and not every single day. But the
Because you're
funniest
going to
moment,
be on a yoga retreat with me at the Ritz Carlton.
yes,
Yeah.
I would love it. I would love it.
Yeah.
No, but so it happened last week. So I'm training my son to be a tea barista, not a barista, but a tea barista, right?
Love that. Okay.
And he is shaking the shaker, and I'm
Like
like,
Tom Cruise in
hey,
Cocktail.
right, right. And I'm like, hey, this kid has got his groove going. He's shaking it. He's feeling confident. And all of a sudden, I'm recording him because it's for social media. I'm showing that he's now a T-Rista. And he's shaking it. He got his groove going, and he smiles at the camera. And all of a sudden, it explodes in his face. And I let out a gut laugh that you would not believe. And it
That's
was all
great.
caught on tape. And it was the funniest thing in a long time. Because I think laughter
Yeah.
is the best medicine, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Of
My
course.
God. I've watched that video about 100 times and I still
That's great.
laugh.
I want you to post that and do like a
I
before and
did.
after. Oh,
I
good. I didn't
posted
see it.
it, I think Tuesday.
Okay. I'll have to go back and
And I
look.
posted it it's on the Facebook page, Love That Spice.
Okay.
And you'll
Okay.
see it. It is hilarious.
That's great. Oh my gosh. I love that so
Oh, and
much.
there's another one. There's
Oh,
another one.
good.
So
Yeah.
I was making a drink for a customer and it was so fun. Oh my gosh. And I'm making her drink, right? And I didn't realize that I had dropped an ice cube on the floor. So as I'm bringing her drink, and I'm proud of it because it's a 3-layer matcha. It's got
Mm,
strawberries that I muddled. We don't do syrup. Everything is handmade. So I'm
mm-hmm.
muddling the strawberries and I'm putting the milk in there. Make her drink perfectly with ceremonial matcha. So it's expensive, right? And I'm walking it to her. As I go walking to her, I slip on this piece of ice.
Oh
I
no.
hit the floor. My arm hits the side of the desk and cuts my arm. There's blood
Oh,
dripping, but I didn't drop that drink.
that's talent.
And the
Wow.
customer just starts, at first she was like, oh my God, are you okay? And I had the drink like this. I'm holding the drink up. And she just burst out laughing.
Oh,
She's like,
that's
I
great.
cannot believe you didn't drop that drink. I put her drink down and I went to get the blood off my arm
Uh,
and I thought I would die laughing. So yeah, those are the two
Wow.
most funniest moments.
Wow. That's like an ESPN top 10 moment right there,
Yes,
right? I got the
yes. And
ball. I
I
made the
didn't drop
catch.
it. I was not
Love.
dropping that expensive drink. No way.
No, no, no. Oh, okay. Wow, that's great. All right. So the other part of this podcast is the woo side, right? And so
Yeah.
I would like to know, I don't know that we've ever really talked about this. I've assumed you're spiritual. Is there
Spirit.
anything you'd like to share in terms of like, do you have a daily practice? I know coming to work is your yoga. That's your religion.
It's my
but
therapy.
Is there any sort of practice that you do before, during, or after work, or anything you'd like to share about that spiritual side? Are you intuitive? Do you get intuitive hits from customers that come in? So just like talk a little bit about what other parts of your magic that you might not let people know.
So for myself, I am very happy with this body that God has given me, right? Mm-hmm. So every single day when I wake up in the morning, when my feet hit the floor, I'm so grateful and I'm so thankful for another opportunity to do it all over again, right? Because nobody's perfect. You're not going to get it right every single day. So I think every day is an opportunity for me to first be thankful to God for allowing me to be here. That's the first thing that I do. And the second thing I do is I take care of the temple that God has given me, right? That is what I have learned to do. I spend most of my time taking care of everyone else and I forget about myself. So I fill myself up every morning by telling myself, I am enough. I am special. I am rich and I am loved. This is what I tell myself every single day. And no matter how I'm feeling, I instantly perk up because I know I am worthy, right? So for people, when I come into the store, this is the second part of my therapy. I love human beings. I love them. I love kindness. I love people of light. I even love the people that are in the dark, right? Because it gives me the opportunity to bring them to the light, right? You might come into this store feeling maybe not so good, but I guarantee you're going to leave here as a friend with a smile on your face, right? Because people...
Preach. I can attest.
Right? People always... You can listen. You can get tea and spices from anywhere, right? A dime a dozen.
From you.
Right. People will... They might forget how something tastes, right? But they will never, and I learned this, I think, from Maya Angelou, they will never forget how you make them feel. So every single day I walk in here, I walk with light, okay? And I spread my light to all those, whether you seek it out or not, you're going to see me as a person of light, right? So I pray for that every day. God, please let me continue to be a beacon of hope and light and spread love and joy to all those that I meet. I don't care how much money you have, the color of your skin, socioeconomics. I don't care how much education you have. You are human and you are loved by me, right? Because everybody has light in them. I don't care how dim it is or how bright it is. Always shine the light. So sometimes I can get myself in trouble. And it's a good trouble, right? It makes me feel bad when people cry, right? So this lady walks through the door. Now, I don't know what possessed me that day. I walked right up to her. And I said, how long have you had cancer? And she looked at me and she said, what? I said, how long have you had cancer? She said, how did you know that?
Wow.
I said, oh, no, I just felt it. And she said, well, I just left the doctor's office and I was diagnosed with stage 4 bladder cancer. And I was like, I'm really sorry, but I need you to know one thing. And she says, what? I said, you're going to make it. I said, you're going to go through hell. I said, the cancer is in you. It's all in you. But I'm sensing that you're going to get through this. You're going to survive this. She starts bursting out crying and she gives me the biggest hug. She said, I needed to hear that. I needed to hear that. And so I get myself in trouble like that.
Is she still with us?
Yes, she is still with us. But I will say this, she kind of stays away a little bit. And I'll tell you why. Because whenever I see her, I read her. And when she's doing well, she always comes in and she says, Marlena, what do you see? What do you see? I said, well, I told her, I said, cancer is going to kick your butt. I said, but you're going to win. You're not going to feel like you're winning while you're going through it because it will tear you apart. But here's the good thing. You will make it through. She has made it through, but the last time I saw her, it did return. So I don't know what kind of treatment she's undergoing now, but she was doing the mushroom regimen. I don't want to say it looks kind of shaky for her because I've already seen the ending and the ending tells me she's going to be A-okay. But when I told her at first that she was going to go through hell and back, it looks like she's going through hell and back. And then there's this one lady, every cup that goes out of my store, I always write a message of love, right?
Yes, you do.
And
Yes, you do.
I don't pre-write it because I have to get the energy from you in order to be able to write what I'm writing, right? So when each person comes into the store, every message is individualized, right? So this one woman comes in and I give her a cup. She was a new customer. I give her a cup and I write on the cup, "You matter to me." And I'll never forget it. I give her the drink. She leaves the store. She pays for it. She leaves the store. She comes back in about 10 minutes later and she's crying. And I'm like, oh my God. She's holding a drink in her hand. I'm like,
she didn't like the drink.
Oh my God, right? I'm like, Jesus, did you hate the drink that much? She's like, no. She said, you don't know what these words mean to me right now. And then she goes on to tell me, she says, I have cancer. She says, and I just don't know what to do. She said, I'm so overwhelmed. She said, but your message, she said, it meant the world to me. And I just had to walk back in here to tell you that. You do know that she is still here with us. So, I mean, I get in trouble because I make two people cry. And I didn't mean to make them cry, but
it's like necessary trouble. It's kind
necessary trouble because I felt I needed to do that. And I feel that it is my duty to spread as much love as I can. And I do it every single day, whether it's you're beautiful or the words on the cup or just a gentle hug, right? Or the light when I shine. I think that if each one of us do that every day, this world can be such a beautiful place. It's already beautiful. The earth is perfect. It's what's in it that needs to be adjusted, right? So I do my duty every day and I feel good doing it. It fills me up, probably more than it fills them up. Fills me up.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're going to get back to what you just said. A few things. First of all, the song "You Matter to Me." Do you know that song? You matter to me. It's like Sarah Bareilles.
No.
I forget the guy that, it's a great song. I'll send it to you. But I play it in yoga all the time, especially when I'm in my chakra series, because mattering is all about the root chakra. And I tell people in my classes, one of the reasons I started teaching yoga, and I was so guided to teach yoga for a number of reasons. One is I call myself the yoga DJ because I love making playlists. Two is I'm like the Dr. Seuss of yoga because I've come to recognize that spirit comes through me in rhyme. People will say, that was a great class. Can you do that next week? I'm like, tell me what I did, because I honestly don't remember. It just comes through me.
Right.
And I mean, I have a plan, I have a flow. Sometimes it's mostly the music guides me, or someone comes in and they'll say, I kind of slept funny. Do you have anything for necks or shoulders? I'm like, yeah. So I just make the whole class about necks and shoulders, and that's how we roll. Because it's like school. If somebody has a question, somebody else probably has the same one. It's not the whole class that goes that way, but my students, just like your customers, always inform the flow. Okay. So yeah, that song, it's so great. I play it in Shavasana all the time. It's "You matter to me."
Now I'm going to have to look that up.
Oh, it's great. It's great. But to connect the dots between how I even got here, and maybe this was part of your intuition. So the producer of this podcast, his name is Will. He's adorable and wonderful. And I found him through my friend Lawrence, who has a podcast, which I will tell you in a moment. Okay. But I came to your store and we were having a conversation. And the message you put on my cup that day was, "You are beautiful." And my friend Lawrence's podcast is called "You Are Beautiful" with Lauren Sarian.
Oh, wow.
And so right now I'm getting the chills because this is such a full circle moment that you told the story about how you make messages on your cups. I've got the producer that he recommended, who I adore, my friend Lawrence and his twin brother, Gregory, I adore. They'll be on the podcast.
Right.
But it's like, and this is my calling. This is why I'm doing what I do. This is why you do what you do. There's a section on my website, which is still in development, but I'm very proud of it so far. It's my faves. And my favorite thing to do is to connect dots. And whether I have skin in the game or not, I'm not meant to be the expert on everything. I have a lane, you have a lane. But if somebody comes to me through my yoga class and says, "Hey, do you know anybody that's magic with spices?" And I'm like, "Yes, it's Marlena." And like, I know you've recommended people to me. And then there's neither one of us has expertise. And so we recommend other people to other people.
Right.
And through that, we are connecting dots and making people feel valued, heard, and seen. And that is why we're doing what we're doing. And so the third reason why I really got into the teaching of yoga is just what we're talking about also, is noticing how women especially took up their space, or I should say, didn't take up enough of their space on their mat. And I would see these women holding their arms out. I know you can't see me, but there's a difference between holding a warrior two pose with straight arms with space, right? You're extending from fingertip to fingertip. And then I'd see some of these women looking like just really fearful on their mat, like little chicken arms. And I'd walk up to them and I'd whisper, I'm like, honey, take up your fucking space. And it just really hit me that women, especially for some reason, but I see this in men too, people are just afraid to own their space. And this is even before I started all of the work that I do with chakras. Just that intuitive hit I got that if I can make one person feel like they matter by helping them own the body they're in and taking up their space, then that's what I want to be doing, right? It's fun to teach yoga. It is fun to make playlists, but it is profound to help and see, because I see the transformation in people when they really do walk away walking taller and they understand they have value and they're allowed to take up their space, because what we do on that mat is what we do off the mat. So I'm sure these people who are afraid to own their bodies and take up their space might not speak up for themselves, right? So I hope to inspire them to matter on the mat so that then when they walk away off the mat, they matter just as much, if not more. Yes. What is your joy on the fives in this moment? Right now, what is bringing you joy?
In this very moment, the first thing that popped into my head is my husband and kids.
Okay.
That is the first thing. It's my greatest joy.
Yeah. That's great. Creating joy in your life creates more joy in your life. And so, our work is to create joy, even if we have to fake it till we make it, but to pause throughout our day, not just wait till the end of the day or the first part of the day, although that's great too. Stop and pause and ask yourself, where am I joyful? And if you can't think of something, then just look at a part of your body and say, I really, really like my hair today, or whatever it is. Or I like that drink I made 5 minutes ago. So that's the purpose too of why I'm here, is to bring enlightenment and information, connection and joy to the listeners and to my guests.
We need that.
I know. And I'm so, so grateful that you've agreed to be here with me today.
Absolutely.
And that you're doing what you're doing for our community every day. Whether you know or not, my intuition is telling me that despite your best efforts for not franchising, not so sure that's going to stick. And I think you're going to be creative in how you do it. It might not be maybe, making potions in person, but kiosks to offer your herbs, spices, and blends may be enough. And I know that you're going to figure it out because you're very creative that way too. So is there anything else? First of all, tell everybody out there how we can find you. What is your website, your Instagram, your Facebook, if you have all those things?
Okay. So the website is lovethatspice.com. Instagram, everything is under Love That Spice on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. Or you can find me at the brick and mortar store, or just scream my name out in the streets. I'll hear you. Yeah. I tell you, I challenge you. Here's my dream. I would love a wellness center where you can do yoga and meditation and eat whole foods and drink wonderful tea and health shots and all people of light coming together. Can you imagine how that wellness center would glow?
Well, we've talked about that, and we need to make it happen. Manifesting that. We're going to do day retreats for sure. I've been sniffing up your backside to say, I want a custom design wellness blend that I can, sell to my people with your name on it. I know. So we're gonna connect about that. But there's so many wonderful spiritual people just in our area. And I've been having conversations and we'll continue to have them. And you'll always be on my train with this idea. as I know that I'm on yours, because we're all, like my teacher Rama says, we're all bozos on the same bus. And I'm just grateful to be on this bus of life with people like you. So, Marlena, I love, adore, and appreciate you.
Thank you so
and
much.
I want to offer you namaste and joy.
Okay.
And please, please keep doing your dharma. Keep doing what you're meant to do.
Thank you.
And you really are doing it fantastically, even just with your eyes closed. It's just who you are.
Oh, well, you know what? It takes one to know one.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for being with me today on The Real and the
Thank you for
Woo.
having me. Thank you.
Yes. And you guys need to go find her stuff because she's got great stuff.
Yeah. And you know what? So October 12th, I'm unveiling that I have lost so far 62 pounds.
Yeah.
And I'm going to share with everybody how I did it. And no, it was not through drugs.
Okay. Yeah, I know, because I've seen your transformation. I don't like to lead with that because there's body image stuff and it's your personal business. So since you brought it up and since I know your story, you wanted to feel better and get in charge of.
Yeah, I went to the doctor and they told me that I was pre-diabetic. And she says, well, Marlena, I know you're an herbalist. I'll give you 30 days to bring it down. I walked out of that office and gave up 5 things. That's all I did. No exercise, 5 things.
Okay.
And here it is.
Keep that to yourself.
Yeah. Within about 5 months, I was already down 50 pounds. Yeah. Just 5
so
things.
There's your, I'm giving you another tagline. So I want a little piece of the business, but you know what? Lose these 5 things. And in 5 months, you'll feel 5 times better.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because health
you heard
is
it
wealth.
Here first.
That's right. Health is wealth. If you don't have health, you don't have anything.
Well, and then it's like an angel number because now you're talking 555. So it's like, Marlena's 555 plan through Love That Spice.
That's right.
Brought to you by Lauri Stern. And that's it.
And it's not about the way you look. It's about how you feel. Because I never did this journey with the intentions of losing weight. Right. I intended to beat diabetes. And the byproduct of it was I lost the weight.
Right.
There you go.
Right. And so, the disclaimer that we all have to say is neither one of us are physicians. We are on our personal paths. And if there's anybody out there struggling with weight, mental health, or any other issues, please seek out the professional help of your professional people.
Absolutely.
But if you want to learn how to feel better energetically from the inside out, you can feed yourself with what Marlena does, and you can work with yourself with what I do, and many other people on the planet are here to help you in this community we call the Earth.
Right. That's right.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.